Went away. Skull. We're live on YouTube. YouTube, what's going on? Here on my weekly Tuesday live. I'm live here every single Tuesday and Thursday at noon Pacific. Today will be a little bit shorter. I'll only be on here for half an hour, 45 minutes, depending on how this goes. I got something at 1 p.m. that I got to get locked in for. So can't be pushing the full hour. TikTok, what's going on? Peyton Scurro, exactly. See, there's all sorts of Bo Juro, Walmart Joe Burrow, Peyton Scurro. You got it all. You got it all. Wait, are you the guy that used to play football? That's a broad question. That's a broad yes, but nowadays I get like the lookalike comments like we're just talking about. Lord Jimbo, what's going on? Good to see you. I feel like you're loading up for a big politics question there. Oh, sorry. Travis, good to see you, man. Weekend was good. It does, Lord Jimbo. My wife just collaborated with Gracie Kramer. In fact, we went on a brand deal with her. I got to know her a little bit. Sat next to her on the bus. She's great. UCLA gymnast. Yeah, Vic just collabed with her. Johan, dude, that's the power three right there. Lord Jimbo, Travis, and Johan holding it down. TikTok, we don't got a power three yet. We don't got the. I guess we got some of the OGs. I'm sure they'll pop up. Exactly. Miles. We were just talking about that. T Vons, is that you? Shout out Tyler Vons. What's going on, man? I'm not going to do gymnastics. Honestly, watching the balance beam video that you're talking about, Lord Jimbo, is gives me anxiety. I'm gonna like roll my ankle and snap my ankle in half, amongst a lot of other things. But I'm too lanky. I got too long of limbs to be doing gymnastics. Big U.S. Open week though coming up Thursday. Thursday's live. I'll be watching the U.S. Open with you guys, so I'll watch it and talk. If you're a golf person, great. If not, I'm sure the conversation will go elsewhere. Weekend was good though, Travis. This past weekend I golfed. Speaking of the U.S. Open, I golfed LACC North, which was like a huge bucket list opportunity. It was sick. I golfed. They hosted the U.S. Open 2 years ago. Played kind of well. Shot an 85. Well for me. That was sick. It was sick. Very lucky. Been very fortunate. The past 6 weeks, I golfed Oakmont 6 weeks ago. Big YouTube video coming out of my round at Oakmont, coming out on Thursday on U.S. Open, the day the U.S. Open starts. Even if you're not a golf guy, I'm going to commentate my round like I do with my wife's weekend highlights videos that I know some of you guys like, where I poke fun at things and whatnot. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be fun. Can I break 90? I'm an 11 handicap playing Oakmont. For reference, I just saw a tweet before I came on here of Rory McIlroy saying he shot an 81 in a practice round. So we shall see. Came down to the last few holes. That's all I'm saying. Opinions on the USC baseball team. I don't really got any. I watched an inning or two when they were in Corvallis. I don't got anything. But Colin, I interviewed the baseball coach. I'm blanking his name. I was like right when he got hired. I was the first guy that interviewed him when I was doing USC radio. Me and Jordan and Sean. But glad to see they're doing well, right? People are pleased with that. Football is life and fishing asks, any advice for being a young football player? Side note, I'm speaking to the Elite 11 quarterbacks next week, a week from today. So this is a good tee-up question for that because I got to prepare a speech. It'll be fun. I'm going back, talking with those guys. It's cool because most of the guys that talk to the Elite 11 quarterbacks are guys that had super good playing careers. They come back and bestow their wisdom, which is great. For me, I had an absolutely shitty football college career. So it's a good lens to come back and give them, the perspective of, your life's not over, even if you don't throw any touchdown passes. I'm sure they would all want Jared Goff's trajectory more than mine, but we're living life large over here. But any advice, dude? I'll keep it super generic, but it's so truthful. Keep it fun. Keep it fun. That's the biggest issue I see when guys get going down a negative path is they just can't get out of the lane that, hey, there's a whole world beyond their sport. And I know, part of being a great quarterback is having your identity tied to your sport. I'm not saying don't be all in. I'm not saying any of that. But I do think having the bigger picture perspective that this isn't the end all be all, especially as you're climbing the ranks, just don't lose track of that. Easier said than done. I was a dude that, hey, quarterback was like the pillar of my identity for the first 24 years of my life. So it's much easier said than done. But I always think in the back of my mind, I knew at the end of the day, even if you are one of the biggest busts of the last decade, it's still not the end of the road. Obviously, that's a super intense comment to say, but keep it fun, man. Keep it light. When I look at my teammates that are still playing in the NFL, there's it's not that many. I'm 30 years old, but guys like Sam Darnold, Adoree Jackson, Uchenna Nwosu, Leonard Williams, Juju Smith-Schuster. A common theme with all 5 of those guys, those 5 weren't the biggest grinders on our team. They weren't slappies. Like they worked hard and they took care of business, but they weren't necessarily the guys staying after practice for half an hour doing extra reps. They worked hard, don't get me wrong, but they had a lightness. The energy was lighter when they were playing football, and I think that helped their football career long term, especially in today's day and age where you open up your phone and everyone's analyzing your every move. I'm one of those guys, right? I'm analyzing every last thing of these quarterbacks. There's no off switch like there was 20 years ago. So having that balance and being able to turn the football off switch, I think is healthy and will directly help your football game. Lord Jimbo says, save your money. No doubt. If you're getting paid, no doubt. The NFL fan asks, who are you? Curious NFL fan, did the suggested videos make you scroll on my page? I was a quarterback, played at USC from 2013 to 2016. Big part of my story is I was the number 1 quarterback recruit in the country in 2013. Could have gone and played football anywhere I wanted. Went to USC, played there for 4 years. Finished up my 5th year at Pitt. Got hurt, rehab for a couple of years, had a couple NFL workouts, and then shifted into broadcasting and content. This year, I'll have an announcement for you guys in a couple of weeks about where I'm calling games, which will be exciting. Little subtle Woj bomb there. But yeah, college football analyst, content creator. Throw me that subscribe button, man, or that subscribe. It'll be good to have you on board. Comzat, new name. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Comzat, good to see you, man. Do you think Army will have a good season without Bryson Daly? I don't know enough to have a take on that. Appreciate the question. Sorry, man. He was effective as that running quarterback, running that offense. And I will say this. Here's a little Army take for you that's, for the big picture college football fan is, in today's day and age where there's the transfer portals everywhere and getting camaraderie and culture and unity is harder than ever. When you have to game plan for an offense like Army or like, for example, Georgia Tech 5 years ago, that's always hard, right? Because it's so polar opposite to every single defensive rep that you have the entire season, that the transfer portal era gives schools like Army an advantage because it's so hard to get guys, defensive players bought in to stuffing the A gap and disciplined against such a unique offensive attack. It's just difficult that as the years go on, schools like Army are going to sneak up on people and they're going to pull off upsets because their offense is so unique. I'll take it a step further. I think an offense like Stanford, when Andrew Luck was there, it's so difficult to install because there's so many personnel groups. There's so many different players in and out. It just takes a lot of practice time to get that done. That if you can establish in the transfer portal era where you're having tons of new faces and tons of people in and out, if you can establish an offense like Stanford in 2010 and bring that to the park in 2025, that offense was not that unique. It was still unique, but not that unique 15 years ago. You bring that to the park in 2025 and you can execute it well, that gives you such an advantage because it's so different having to prepare for that kind of offense week in, week out. Take the talent outside, take the talent away. If I was an offensive coordinator, especially if I was at a school where we're not getting that many transfers, I would look at going against the grain and going more pro style than spread just to have that be your competitive advantage. Boom. Boom. A lot of comments here on YouTube. Love the traction on YouTube. What's going on? TikTok, how we living? Michael, what's going on? Toby, what up? Toby, thanks for the gift badges. I still don't even know what that does, but I appreciate you. Why not go back to Skyline and become the head coach? Cruel World asks, because one of my best friends is the head coach right now. He's taking care of business. He'd do a way better job than me. Peyton Pluer, man, home run hire for the Skyline Spartans. Gonna crush it. Year 2, baby. Excited about it. Gary, what's going on? Nicholas, what's going on? Good advice by Travis Wilson on the high school thing over there on YouTube. What else we got here? Rookie 17. Who's your favorite MLB team, Max? I always go Mariners, but I haven't been living in Seattle for a little while. Buddy Van Doodle, great question. Seahawks logo in there. Buddy, if you haven't seen my YouTube video, it's been got a lot of traction from Seahawk fans. Jalen Milroe breakdown, how I think the Seahawks should use him like the Saints used Taysom Hill. Go check it out. It's called The NFL's Secret Weapon Can't Be Wasted on YouTube. You'll like it. My first high school touchdown pass in varsity was thrown to Jordan Simone, Arizona State legend. Played safety for them. Played on the Seahawks. So that's funny. My first high school touchdown pass, he was in the training camp with the Seahawks and tore his ACL running down on kickoff for the Hawks in a preseason game. Sad, but legend. ASU fans will know him. First college touchdown pass, Juju Smith-Schuster on a little arrow route, roll out right, arrow route against Utah State. So pretty good run. High school, Jordan Simone. College, Juju Smith-Schuster. Max, what are your thoughts on Sam Darnold and the Seahawks? I've gotten this question every single live the past month. Love it, though. I'm excited for Sam. My unique take here, and I've said this, so I'll keep it quick for those the people that are returning here. I'm excited for now that Sam is an established starter in the NFL and the potential for him to unlock a whole nother level to his game. I think that's part of the reason the Seahawks went with him over Geno, because Sam's upside is even more than Geno. Because think about it. Sam last year was playing for his NFL life, or at least playing for his NFL starter life. That's a different mentality than walking into the season where you don't have to like prove that you belong in this NFL in the NFL, or like prove that people were right about you once upon a time when you were a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. Obviously, the mindset changes where he's going to have to prove to a new franchise he can be their guy. But I'm excited for Sam where, again, there's no more, hey, I have to prove myself in the NFL. He's done that. He's got the big contract. Now go out there, and does that allow him to play more freely? Does that allow him to take the check down and not force the ball downfield kind of thing? Playing for the Seahawks, which will be a defensive-minded team, I think that could help him. And I'm excited about the Hawks, man. Cooper Kupp, not sure what he's doing with that dang haircut. You guys see that haircut? If Cooper Kupp was not a Super Bowl MVP, the internet would be absolutely losing their mind over that haircut. It looks like a 40-year-old woman who's trying to be trendy. But I guess when you're a Super Bowl MVP, you can do that. But I'm excited for Sam, man. Cooper Kupp looks like Kurt Cobain right now. Facts. Is a defensive head coach detrimental to a quarterback's success? All else being equal, it's not a factor that I like, but as long as you can hit with the OC, obviously, then it'll work out. Detrimental? No. Would I rather have an offensive-minded head coach or a defensive-minded head coach? I'd rather have the offensive-minded head coach, but I do think it can have sneaky benefits where, you know, you're going to have a defense that's going to protect you. You're going to have a most of the time, defensive coaches love the run game because they know internally how daunting it is when they have to face a successful run game. So then they emphasize the run game with their offensive attack, which then can protect the quarterback. Just totally depends on who you get as your offensive coordinator. Brett Leota. Brett, don't recognize that name. Welcome. Good to see you. I'm super high on Caleb Williams. I made the comp last week or last live that if Caleb Williams was on the Washington Commanders last year in that whole situation, I think our view would be flopped. I think Caleb would have balled out for the Commanders last year. I wanted to say Redskins, but Commanders. And I think Jaden could very well still be better than Caleb. But with Caleb's Chicago setup last year, if Jaden had that setup, I don't think he would have lit the world on fire. So verdict's still out for me, whether or not who's going to be the better pro. Interested to see how Caleb responds after, from afar, what seems to be his first year where he didn't have success as a quarterback. The mentality is what I'm most interested in. But I think Caleb's legit. I'd be super excited if I was a Bears fan. Bears did have an amazing offseason. In fact, sneaky Justin, the offensive lineman they got, the Boston College kid, He's got that Italian last name. I'm blanking. Anyways, I called 3 Boston College games this past year. Bill O'Brien loved him. And he was legit too. That Boston College offensive line was legit last year. If people are looking for a sneaky line too, I don't know what Boston College's win total is this year, but I think Vegas feels like, ooh, Bill O'Brien did that in year 1 at Boston College. It'll creep up and they'll do the next step in year 2. I'm a little worried on that because Boston College's offensive line was legit last year and it was old. Ozzie Trapello, good call. It's hard to replace offensive line in a scheme like that. I don't know exactly who they have coming back, but the under on that could be a sneaky play there. Yeah, it was Ozzie Trapello. Toby asks, how do I like Jaden Maeva and what should be the standard this year for USC in the 2025 schedule? So I'm coming out with a video next week on the Big Ten Network's social media channels of my projections of their win total. That's the concept. I haven't filmed the video yet. I think I went through it a couple lives ago, and I had it at 8 wins. Vegas has the over-under at 7.5, so I guess technically I'm saying the over. I have USC winning 8 games. That sounds crazy for the average USC fan. It's like, what? We got to be winning double-digit games. 8 wins in the Big Ten. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. And I think it'll put USC in a very interesting situation if that does happen, where you're kind of just lukewarm about the season. 8-5 is not going to be anything sexy. Again, I think it's better than the average USC fan realizes because of conference realignment. But that's where I have the Trojans at. Jaden Maeva, I remember watching his Mountain West UNLV film. I think there's a whole nother level to what Jaden Maeva can be. My take for any quarterback in college is year 3 is when the huge jump's made. So I'd be super excited about that. Do I think Jaden's going to be a first-round pick next year? No. If the standard's going to be Caleb Williams, Sam Darnold, even Jackson Dart to some degree, I don't think he's there yet. But do I think he could be better than Miller Moss was last year? Yeah, for sure. Like, Jaden Maeva is not going to be the reason that USC doesn't win games. That was a double negative, sorry. But, yeah, I'm excited to see him. I think he's got a lot of upside. It's just a matter of whether or not he can tap into that. On that note, I think Miller Moss got a raw deal. Don't sleep on Louisville. That's another ACC champ sleeper that I'm eyeing. We're almost creeping up to the most YouTube viewers we've had this month, too. I mean, in the last month. It's only been 10 days in June. But thanks for everyone on YouTube hanging out over there. Walk on Red Shirts. Good to see you. What up? Sellers will win the Heisman by his junior year. What year is he? I forget what year Lenora Sellers is. Next year's QB class seems deep. Yeah, the 2026 NFL QB class will be interesting. I'm still in wait-and-see mode on Drew Aller. Love what Garrett Nussmeier could be. You get him a run game to support him. I think he could be exciting. You got Lenoris, you got Arch, you got John Mateer potentially. Lagway won't be eligible. Who else am I missing out there? The Pitt kid. Don't sleep on the Pitt kid. Holstein. Don't sleep on him. Who else is out there? Dante Moore. I'm high on Dante Moore. Love a good preseason Heisman odds when the guy hasn't started yet. The world doesn't necessarily know about him. I know Dante Moore started 2 years ago, but we have a bias as a college football world to overhype returning quarterbacks and sleep on guys who've been getting it done over on scout team. Obviously, you'd rather have game reps and you'd rather have real data. I get that. But from like a betting side, the guys that haven't started yet are always intriguing to me. Like the Ohio State situation, intriguing to me. Dante Moore at Oregon, intriguing to me. Oregon didn't go out and get a transfer quarterback. That's noteworthy to me. Who else is out there like that? Yeah, probably just those 2 schools, right? Ooh, Damon Williams, Washington. I know Washington fans are like, Max, shut up. Like, don't tell the world our secret. But he's exciting to me. Maybe not Heisman yet, but wouldn't surprise me if he's like, one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in college football. Jamie, Nino, DC, Will, Jonathan. Jonathan, good to see you again. What's up, man? Do I think UCLA is going to start getting big recruits? I do not. I do not think their NIL is there to compete with everything else on the West Coast. Dante Moore is mid, Jamie says. I have a feeling you're probably in the majority there and I'm in the minority, but I disagree. Dante Moore, don't sleep on him. Last time we saw him was a true freshman. There's a lot of growth that happens true freshman to year 3. Arch Manning stat line. Dude, I think Arch is going to be a baller. I'm bought in on the hype. Stat line, I don't know. But fun. This Saturday, I got a great video coming out on YouTube. I forget what we're titling it, but it's basically about the chosen one. And it's a video highlighting Arch. But I take him down a path of like lessons he could learn from other phenoms. So the lessons that he could learn from LeBron, the lessons he could learn from Coco Gauff, the lessons he could learn from Phillies guy, Bryce Harper. And I package it into like a cool narrative style of video. It'll be sweet. It'll be a good video. I'm excited about it. Coming out this Saturday, 9 a.m. For those of you guys on TikTok, Max Brown on YouTube, check it out. We're leveling up the YouTube content over there. Is Lagway going to be good or just overhyped? Lagway's legit. Lagway's legit. I remember watching the film on my plane ride home of his first start versus, it was a random school, Fordham, I think it was. And I know it's Fordham, trust me. But for a true freshman, you can tell moment's not too big for him. He's clean the operation stuff, which is a little thing and maybe a quarterback nerd thing for me. But he's clean there. Lagway's legit. Ryan is hungry. He says, go Bruins. My brother-in-law is a Bruin. I was around a bunch of Bruins this weekend. What are the odds Damon Williams is the best quarterback in the Big Ten next year? Ooh, Will Gregg. Great question. Will Gregg has the honor for best question of the day so far. Will, I don't recognize your name. My bad, but welcome. Good to see you. Let's see. You got Drew Aller, Penn State. I'm not as high on him as other people are. You got Jaden Maiva. You got Dante Moore. You got Rayola. You got the Illinois kid. I would say the odds are like 7%. 7% are the odds there. A lot of great other quarterbacks. Maybe fast forward 2 years. I would put the odds at 25% 2 years from now. I feel like that's good odds. That's appropriate. Bryce Underwood thoughts, the NFL fan hanging around. Love that. What's up, NFL fan? I just think it's hard for any true freshman quarterback to start week 1. The pressure, the expectations. Michigan's not that far removed from a national title. There's been so much hype. You can tell Bryce Underwood buys into that hype. He is not a like low-key guy. You can tell he's about the hype. That's just a tough situation to walk into. Hence Dante Moore. Dante Moore was a 5-star quarterback, and he did fine at UCLA. Like, was not great, but for a true freshman in that situation with what he had around him, I didn't think it was bad per se. Maybe it was below average, but whatever. I think the first month will be very telling for Bryce Underwood. It'll be very intriguing. I think he's going to be great, but I think it's going to be a longer ramp-up period than people realize. Travis Wilson says he thinks we see a resurgence from West Virginia and Virginia Tech and maybe UNC as big football schools back to the old days. So it was super interesting to me. I made a short form video that crushed on TikTok and YouTube Shorts about. So I grew up in the Pac-12, worked for the Pac-12 networks for 3 years, and there was a lot of tiers to the Pac-12. Like you would go Oregon and USC as tier 1, Washington as tier 2. I would argue tier 3 was like the Utah, Stanford occasionally, ASU, da-da-da-da. In the ACC, it's super interesting where there's tier 1, which is Clemson, Miami, and I put Florida State in there, 1, 2, 3 right now. And then to me, spending every weekend in ACC country last year, it was basically like tier 2 was everybody else, which is super intriguing because it makes for cool, close games in ACC country. But the reason I bring that up now is those other schools in the ACC, like a UNC or a Virginia Tech. I put Virginia Tech above that. Virginia Tech was in tier 2, like by themselves. But there's no reason. I did not put UNC in tier 2. But UNC, there's no reason they shouldn't be up there, period. And that's kind of my take here. But it's also, I don't think UNC is going to have a super strong year. I've said this before, all the Jordan Hudson stuff. It just Bill Belichick's coaching style is wait and see for me in the college ranks. I think it's a totally different game. It's wait and see for me there. Virginia Tech, though, make or break year for that staff. Make or break year for that staff. If they go 500, that staff's going to get fired. They have to win 8-9 games to keep it alive. They got Kyron Drones coming back. They got the Pop Watson guy, I think. Is Pop still there? I called a few Virginia Tech games last year, so I know their roster decently well. But like make or break September, low key for Virginia Tech. They need a huge September. So this is the year. Like in that Louisville, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, those 4 teams kind of right in that second tier. They one of those teams needs to pop, and like this is their year to win the ACC, especially because I'm not as high on Miami. That Carson Beck elbow injury and what he put on film last year, the football world's kind of like, oh, Cam Ward did that. Carson Beck will do the same thing. I'm not there yet. I'm still waiting to see. Cam Ward was a baller. Siobhan, good to see you again. What's going on? I'm doing great. How are you? Will Raiola get drafted eventually? For sure. He'll get drafted. Love the signs that he locked in nutrition, fitness-wise as well. He's like a big dude. At that age, no reason to be sloppy big. Not saying he was sloppy big, but you look like that as a true freshman. You go to a few more frat parties over the next couple of years, that could you could be looking real big. He has not done that. To his credit, great sign. Nebraska is super interesting to me this year. Drew C., did I say it wrong? I've actually been practicing that. Louisville. My bad. I like literally when I got the ACC work last year, I literally was practicing it. I got back into bad habits. It was funny because the PGA Championship was in Louisville last year, and I got my contract to work for the CW and be in ACC country around the same time. And ESPN ran that like little segment of like, how do you pronounce Louisville? And like 8 of the 10 golfers couldn't say it. And so I made it a point of like, I'm not going to be that broadcaster. So my bad. I usually say it correctly nowadays. I wouldn't 2 years ago, but my bad, Drew. I need to get out there too. I want to do one of the bourbon treks, like or whatever you call it. That'd be a blast. We're almost about to beat our YouTube numbers, view count from best performance the last month. So thanks for all you guys hanging out over there. Not Vol. Oh, Louisville. All right, I was wrong. My bad. Drew, appreciate you. Louisville. That's hard, man. I'm from Seattle. That's difficult. Louisville. Rhymes with bull. All right, now I know. Nebraska is the Brazil of the Big Ten. Lord Jimbo, what's that mean? Is that a soccer reference? Will Greg, what are the expectations for Florida State if it's possible to have any? Will, here's my take. I called the game. I called Thomas Castellanos' last start when he was at Boston College before he transferred to Florida State. BC fans will be like, oh, that guy is just like not good. He is built for who's your guys' play caller this year? He's built for that scheme. He is a dual threat. Don't ask him to have 3 or 4 progressions, split the field in half and have him read only one side of the field, get his legs involved. Thomas Castellanos can be a great college quarterback, or at least he can be a really good college quarterback. So I'm a little bit more bullish on him than I think other people are. He's got something to him, but he can only run one scheme. He can only run the zone read, RPO, and then split the field in half. To me, that's the only scheme that he can run. But his legs, he's dynamic. He's like little Kyler Murray back there. So I definitely expect them to be better than last year, but I don't think they're in ACC contention this year. Another coach that'll have a sneaky hot seat, though, if they don't get it done. Drew C. asks, how was Dabo Sweeney in the production meeting? First off, it was super cool. We did the production meeting in his office, which his office, dude, there's like literally every corner, every inch of the wall is covered with some trophy or some picture. He was great to me. It was the first time I ever talked to him. It was cool. He remembered me as a recruit, and maybe he was just saying that, but I don't think he was just saying that. That was cool. I will say this about Dabo. That was in the era where he was getting a lot of pushback from media about not embracing the transfer portal. He's changed on that the past 6 months. So you walked in there and you could tell, like, not that he was defensive, but he knew that as a media member, I have to ask him that question. He's sick and tired of answering that question. It's behind closed doors, so there's a little bit of like a trust circle there. But he went on like a 25-minute answer, literally. And it was a good answer. It was insightful. He talked about the trade-offs and how he sees like the future of the transfer portal. And it was a great conversation. Great conversation. But we asked him only 3 questions in a 45-minute production meeting. So that was by far the least amount of questions I've ever asked in a production meeting. But it was a good chat. It was good. We had done enough prep, and it was later on in the season where I didn't need to ask a ton of questions. But if that happened week 1, and I was only able to ask a head coach 3 questions, my prep, I'd be a little concerned. Usually, most head coaches, I'm asking like a dozen questions. So for those of you guys that don't know, the color analyst, so the Kirk Herbstreit, the Joel Klatt, the Tom Brady. Actually, I don't know if Tom Brady does this in the NFL, but the color analyst runs the coaches meeting. So they sit down and they're firing away the questions. And then the play-by-play guy, at least in my experience, I've worked with 5 or 6 play-by-play broadcasters. They're there just to observe and they ask questions here and there. I'm not saying it's like, it's only the freaking Max Brown show, but so much of my job is the analysis portion that I'm bringing in kind of that next level deeper of questions of like, hey, you did this last week and really emphasize that. Where did that come from? Or, hey, you've been struggling with third down pass protection. What have you done this past week to try to alleviate that? Or how are you thinking? I'm trying to get X's and O's nuggets that I can bring to the park in the broadcast to then distill that down for the viewers like you guys. So production meetings are a game changer. Coaches meetings are game changers. Jay Money asks, who is your favorite coach to have a production meeting with? I made a short form video on this of my top 5 coaches to talk to in production meetings. Number 1, this is so bad by me, but I'm blanking on his last name. Miami of Ohio's head coach. Best production meeting I've had. Those of you guys that know, those of you guys that follow Mac football, what's his name? Gosh dang it, this is so bad. If this gets clipped, I'm sorry, coach. But he was number 1. Mike Martin, there you go. Thank you. Mike Martin is a great chat because he actually gives you stuff. The coaches that are the best are the ones that don't view you as the enemy. They view you as, hey, I'm a resource. Give me more so I can speak better on your behalf, right? If I like a coach, man, I'm pumped up to share what they're doing well, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Let's do this thing. If they view the broadcaster as the enemy or like they're keeping things close to the vest, I don't do this, or at least I don't think I do this, but some broadcasters are then like, screw you. And they might not, talk about the coach in as good of a light. But Mike Martin's one. Justin Wilcox at Cal's another. So Justin Wilcox recruited me when I was a sophomore in high school. I remember when he was walking the halls of my high school at UW. He was my defensive coordinator when I played at USC, or our defensive coordinator when I played at USC. So there's a friendliness there where he gives me a lot of nuggets. Love talking to him. I think I called out Dabo. Dabo was a great production meeting there. Who else did I put in that video? I made a top 5. Boom, boom. Oh, Fran Brown, Syracuse. Fran Brown's comedy, dude. Fran Brown is comedy. What you see, those college football hardos, it might be entertaining every single week to watch Fran Brown's press conference because it's not like any other head coach in college football, which is great when you're prepping. I called 3 Syracuse games last year. Watching those press conferences with Fran Brown is comedy. That's 4. Who was the 5th guy? Jed Fish. Jed Fish. I think it was Jed Fish. Maybe it was another one, but those are the 5 I'll go with on this live. Jed Fish at Washington. Great production or coaches. I keep saying that, coaches meeting. I got him when he was at Arizona. I called like 4 Arizona games when he was there. And dude, Jed Fish he's a great football coach, especially in this new era. I think his temperament is great for the new era kid where he doesn't have that like hardo energy, which I think relates to players and has a certain like calm, cool, collective nature to him. And I think he's a great play caller. Jed Fish, in terms of blending pro style spread, but even more granular of like what Sean McVay's doing with the Rams with a lot of bunch formations and motions. He'll take that. Like you watch one drive from a Jed Fish, he'll take you like you're literally watching as the possession plays out, and you're like, ooh, that's Sean McVay. Ooh, that's Lincoln Riley. Ooh, that screen game is Steve Sarkisian. Ooh, that zone read is Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And you can like literally see the different evolutions which most offensive coordinators can't do because those are different schemes and it's hard to mesh those together and have them flow. Jedd Fisch is great at having them all flow. I love Fran Brown. Jay Money says, yeah, there we go. Exactly, Travis Wilson. Yeah, the open energy is big time. Pop over back to TikTok. You remember playing Skyview in the 2011 Washington Championship? Dude, that reference comes up more than you would think. Of course I do. Of course I do. That was the first, I guess technically my second state title, but the first one I won as a starter. All-time memory, man. All-time memory. Game on the line. You have to gain 10 yards. What are you calling? Addison, give me more juice though. Where are we at? What's the down and distance? Where are we at on the field? Sorry, I know it's like a little hard-out question, but that'll allow me to give you a better answer. Game on the line. You have to gain 10 yards. What am I calling? Give me down and distance and where out on the field. James says Jared Goff. Mr. Malomo says Joe Burrow. No, sorry, not Joe Burrow. How do you time up snapping the ball when someone's in motion? Lake Hale, great question. Just practice, obviously. Different offensive coordinators have different ways with their cadence. Like if you're on the clap, it's just a timing exercise. That's why it takes so long to practice. If you're a verbal team, like in high school, we would always go like green, set, go. Like high school is obviously more dumbed down. That was our normal cadence. And then when we had a guy in motion, it was silver, which then alerted the offensive line to like hold their water and be wary that the set go will come at some point in the next 3 seconds, but not right after the green. So it was usually green, set, go. If you had someone in motion, we went silver, set, go, and like told them to hold their water. In college, what did we do at USC? I forget what we did at USC, but Pitt, when I was at Pitt, that's when they were doing all the jet sweep stuff. And that was a whole exercise. We literally had our own period for timing up motions because jet sweeps were tagged to almost all of our run plays. So timing up that motion was like an absolute like pillar to our offense. It was huge at Pitt, and that's just practicing, right? So you have to time your cadence of like, you have Quadri Henderson coming in motion, little speedster slot guy. I'll start my cadence when he's at like the tight end, and then that in your mind it's going to time up where then he's right at the guard's hip when you snap that up. Squirrel asks, can you address the rumors you've related to John Wilkes Booth? Little did you know, Squirrel, though. Little did you know that I just finished like the 4-part Lincoln documentary on the History Channel. I was watching that on my flight. A little bit of a curveball for you guys. But I'm aware of what the conspiracy, John Wilkes Booth, that the opposing political party, hired him, or that he did not work alone. Something like that. So I guess I'll re-spark that rumor. You didn't think we were going there with that comment. Let's say it's 4th and 10, just shy of the 54th quarter. 4th and 10, just shy of the 54th quarter. I got to gain 10 yards. Got to gain 10 yards. Few things come to my mind. One is like a little Y option play. If I love my tight end, 4th and 10, that's a tough situation. So I got to pick one matchup and focus on that. I love my teams aren't going to double a tight end. Most teams don't. So give me a tight end one-on-one with a Will. That Will is going to be an athletic body, but hey, get to the sticks, turn around and run everyone off behind him. Trust that. That's one thing. I love the delayed tight end screen that people use nowadays. 4th and 10 is tough. That playbook is very slim. 4th and 10 is super tough. But the delayed tight end of do some like outbreaking downfield routes by your receivers and have the tight end like delay, and then release the guard and center and try to sneak one past the offense. That's one that I love. I love going 3-by-1. Oh, here you go. Here's my final answer. Go 3-by-1, the one receiver, take him down on a little, here, I got you right here. Boom. Let me go here. We're going here. Sorry, this is a crapshoot. X, Y, F, Z, Q. Sorry, my handwriting's usually better. We're going to delayed under here, and then we're going 4 verts. with a little comeback on the outside. Come back to hold this corner here. This guy's crossing to the right hash. This guy can read it. If the safety's one high up here, keep vertical up the seam, and I'm trying to bang this route right here, throwing it at like 12 yards right behind the linebacker's head. If the safety rolls over the top, then he's breaking it across the face. There could be a window right here. If the defense gets super delayed and super soft and is dropping, well, then you got your X receiver coming across right here. You know who made a living off that play? I love that because, again, 4th and 10 is tough, but the quarterback's eyes are all in one spot, and you got the running back. So he'll check protection, get right here. So you got a potential option right here. If this corner is scared in the saddle and he leaks off, you got an option here. You got a real option here, option down here. You basically have 5 options that are easy to read in the quarterback's face. All could in some way pick up the down and distance. Sorry, YouTube, that was blurry. I'm just now realizing, or maybe it wasn't. But you know who ran that? Arizona with Tatero McMillan, the new Panthers receiver. They'd put him on the single side, the X receiver side, and all the defense would just focus on him coming from left to right. If they don't, get it to T-Mac and he'll pick up the first. But when they're focused on him coming short underneath, you can bang those seam routes to other receivers right behind the linebacker's head because they're so worried about where Tatero McMillan is. That would probably be my my go-to call. At USC, we would have called that Titans key amigo X shallow. Yep. So there's your play call. Titans helmet on the board. Titans key. How did we signal amigo? I forget how we signaled amigo. And then X like shallow or something was like that. Anyways, there you go. Give me a couple of Mike Allscotts, and we don't even need receivers. Jonesy, there we go, baby. Little drop play. 4th and 10. Mike Allstott. Love it. What other position would I have played outside of quarterback? Dude, I was not a defensive guy. I was not a hitting, violent guy like that, which maybe did not serve me well. But, I mean, I guess tight end. But, dude, I was QB through and through. I don't got anything else. If anything, like other sports. This is like the classic quarterback comment, but I feel like if I picked up golf as like a elementary school kid, I could have been nice. There's a direct correlation to quarterbacks being good shooters in basketball and quarterbacks being good golfers. Siobhan says it wasn't blurred. Love that. Sorry. All right. My camera adjusted. There we go. That penmanship's tough. I just unlocked a new batch of pens. Did a brand deal with them one time. So go support Pilot Pens, man. Crushing it. Bearded is coming to my defense. Are people giving me crap in the comments? What do we got? Can you drop 25 Buster versus 11 personnel 2x2 style formation? I'll type in the rules or through and through or 3 and 1. What's 25 Buster? What is that? I don't know that play call. That sounds like some pro style lingo though. I still sometimes like watching 95 Huskers and that O-line movement. Jonesy, you're a savage. Love that though. Who's that quarterback you guys had? Tommy Frazier. Coach's Corner. Corey, what's up, dude? Good to see you again, man. I think I owe you a DM, man. My bad. Best high school player ever out of Washington. Best high school player out of Washington. I mean, I'm about to say one of my rivals, but is it? Wait. I can't. What? Drew Bledsoe? Is that out of left field? There's probably some linemen out there. I don't know who's in the conversation. Who's in the con? What do you think up there, Coco? Is that a joke at my? Is that a joke at my forehead? Was Napoleon Kaufman from Washington? Yeah, he was. He went to. I randomly know this. He went to Franklin High School because I used to always train at Franklin High School when I was in middle school and high school in downtown Seattle. Big basketball school. That's where Garfield's big high school basketball. Garfield and Rainier Beach, but Franklin was nice. At least when my brother played high school. This is so random, but there's going to be like one person on this live that will appreciate this offense. or for it'll appreciate this reference. Franklin had Vidal Overton when my brother played high school basketball, and he was like the guy in Seattle. Ended up being like the clamps defender guy for Washington for like a 4-year period, across Isaiah Thomas, I think, right? Or before that. Anyways, that's what I think when I think Franklin high school basketball. But that's where Napoleon Kaufman went, I'm pretty sure. Kurt asks, how was Justin Davis? JD, man, the homie. Love Justin Davis. Not a bad word to say about him. If anything, I think he could have had an even much better career. He was a stud. He had a great college career. Don't get me wrong. Great college career. But, Rojo, who he split reps with, is a 2-time Super Bowl champion. If Justin Davis had some things fall a different way, he could have easily been a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Not easily, but you know what I'm talking about. JD was a beast. The JD story that I've shared before on this live, it's a great one. I remember my first spring at USC. We had 6 guys graduate early. JD and me were one of them, or 2 of them. And JD had this run. He was young too. He didn't turn 18 until November of his freshman year of college. So he was 17, should have been in high school the whole spring, had this run that was like a stiff arm spin move, like big boyed someone. And on the headset, Kiffin said, I don't know the exact verbiage he said, but he was like, that's the next Reggie Bush. Or he was like, that dude's going to win the Heisman. And he was obviously getting caught up in the moment, but he was like serious, or was like, yo, that's the next great USC running back. And again, Justin had a great college career, but he's not in that same category as Reggie, obviously, or Lendale, or other guys. But JD was a beast, man. Beast. Ooh, Jay Money says Jonathan Stewart was elite in high school. Yes, he was. Another high school reference. Timbercrest High School. Sure. Green and yellow. We'd always play them in summer 7-on. Jay Money, where do you go to high school? Timberline, I think. How do you go to Oregon, man? You should have gone to Washington. Oregon's glad he went there. Most underrated NFL QB. This is the last question that I got to dash. I got something at 1 I got to stay prepared for. Most underrated NFL quarterback. Where my head goes right away is Geno Smith. Geno Smith is just not thought about in that top tier. And Geno Smith's not in that top tier, but I even think people don't view him as the second tier guy. I still think Stafford is stupid good. That like the fact that he's also not in that top tier, which I get, is just intriguing because I do think Stafford will be a Hall of Famer. I saw Colin Cowherd's take today of like, hey, if Stafford wins another ring, I think Cowherd was making the point that you got to put Stafford above Aaron Rodgers in terms of career. Cowherd's take was that he had a better beginning and a better end than Rodgers did. But Stafford, I still think, doesn't get the credit that he deserves. But Geno Smith, where my head goes at right away. Let me make sure there's not another one out there. Geno Smith's my final answer. And on that, I got to dash. I'm not Brad Kaya's cousin. But anyways, thanks for hanging out, guys. This was fun. I'll be back Thursday at noon. I'll be watching the U.S. Open. The whole thing won't be about golf, so definitely tune in. But this was fun. The numbers on YouTube were great. Coming out with a bunch of YouTube long-form content. So if you're over there on TikTok, go check it out on YouTube. Bunch of cool stuff there. And this was fun. That 50 minutes flew by. Appreciate the locals. Yeah, you know who you are. Or not locals, but the consistent usernames. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks.